Hello YouTube, my name is Isabel and welcome back to my channel, Stubbornly Bookish. Today I'm going to be doing a review and discussion of The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This review is going to be spoilery and spoiler free. I will give you warning when I decide to discuss some of the spoilery aspects of the story. I'm so excited to finally be talking about this book. I've actually read it twice this year, once physically and then once on audio. So The City of Brass starts off in 1700s Cairo, and it follows our main character who's a con woman. During one of these cons, she actually angers this bad spirit and then accidentally conjures a djinn who helps her, but then they have to escape together to go to the magical city of Brass while these horde of Ifrit, these demons, are trying to kill them. Once they get to the city of Brass, they get all wrapped up in a bunch of political machinations, and the story kind of goes from there. It's actually a dual perspective novel. One of them is Nahri, our con woman, and then our other perspective is Ali. He is a prince of the city of Brass, and he's kind of training to assist his older brother, who is going to be the king. So for some background on the city of Brass and my experience with it, like I said, I did read it twice. I read it once in a March, and I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars when I first read it, but that was more because I was not in the right state of mind to be reading a really dense, intricate adult fantasy story. I didn't quite understand some of the political and world building things. That's because my brain just wasn't working for me. And the more and more I thought about it, the higher and higher the rating went until I gave it a 5 stars. And then I decided I wanted to review and discuss it. So I decided to reread it again. I reread it on audio via Hoopla and loved it this time around. It was great rereading it, knowing the end of the story. I picked up on a lot of things that I missed out on the first time, and things kind of finally fit into place, because before I was confused because, again, my brain. This is one of the most vibrant and successful iterations of world building, magic systems, and mythical beings I've ever seen. I think this book is well worth your time, and now I think I'm going to get into the review. As always, when applicable, I'm going to start off with the world building. The world building, I think, was just done excellently. It's incredibly ambitious. It has a lot of stuff that it has to accomplish, and I think she very well succeeds. She has to set up 18th century Cairo, the current city of Brass, all the politics. She sets up a lot of the histories between the warring races. She also has to develop different species of magical beings. There's so much done in here, but it never is overwhelming. It's never just thrown at you. As the story goes along, more and more pieces of the puzzle are put together. There's also the addition of religion in here, some made up ones, also the influence of Islam. I think the reason why that this world is so incredibly done is that I think S.A. Chakraborty has a very good idea of what makes a world and not just something that you're passing through. There are histories and customs and religion and warring class issues of class. She knew how to build this city and this empire, and I think that is what puts this book above a lot of the world building that I've read in the past. Now, to the characters, I really, really adored these characters. We have 3 main-ish characters, and all of them individually I thought were really strong, but together, and the dynamics that each one have with one another is just honestly fantastic. They are incredibly realized, memorable people. Their choices impact themselves and others. Our characters grow a lot. Their belief systems are challenged. What they're taught is challenged. And I love seeing the seeds of all the things that they are learning from this first book. And I think that just the growth is going to be phenomenal over the course of the next 2 books. I think it's just going to be great. I think a lot of the side characters were very interesting and had a really good addition as well to the story. I really like our villainous character because he's not a sympathetic character, but he's incredibly smart. A lot of the decisions he makes are morally not great, but they are the right thing, or in his mind, the right thing for his country. And so he's just a very interesting character to like read from and see, and I'm interested to see a lot more from him in the future. Our characters each have a very interesting and unique dynamic with each respective character, side characters, main characters. They all have a very unique perspective and everything, and it's just really entertaining. Moving on to the plot, I also really enjoyed how the story was plotted. It was a great mix of like being on your own with the characters, with some action and a lot of political intrigue. It's, I think, a very well-paced story. It starts off with a bang and you then get the pieces filled in as you go. It slows down and speeds up, and it just made for an incredibly thrilling and enthralling story. Also, this is a very high stakes story. The characters could lose their lives at any moment if they do the wrong thing, and it just kept me on the edge of my seat, on my toes, nervous for the characters. In terms of the romance in here, there is a budding romance that I honestly am dying over. I'm not one who typically ships people anymore. I don't know if I've just grown out of it, whatever it is. Their chemistry is off the charts, and I just love the way they interact with one another. So hopefully they can stick together, but who knows. And also the end of the story had me like gutted. I have no idea how the story was going to end. I cannot believe what happened, and it just made me want to read the sequel right away. I'm shocked I didn't. I have no idea why I didn't do that, but again, probably depression. And in terms of the prose, I thought that was also very well done. I think S.A. Chakraborty excels very well in terms of description. She really vividly described the city, and I had a really clear image of the city in my mind, and I honestly tend to struggle picturing like elaborate fantasy lands and worlds and cities, but I just think she did an excellent job. There's some really great and unique visuals in here that just had me hooked, and I just could picture things so very well. I also think the tone in which it was written when we're getting certain perspectives was very reflective of the character. I'm now noticing that the ice is shaking in my cup. Hopefully you can't hear it because my mic is like really right where my cup is, so we're gonna stop that. It was super entertaining and pretty fast-paced at times, but also built steadily, and I just enjoyed all of it. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Nobody's surprised. It is currently my favorite book of 2019. I loved it so much. I think this has a lot of crossover appeal from YA to adult. If you're a young adult reader, I still think you could give this a chance. Our characters are a bit younger, and there's some good bits of humor in there, but I think it exposes you very well to like a really well done world, and I would suggest you give that a shot. So now is when I'm going to start talking about all spoilery related things. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not read the book, I suggest you peace out now. But if not, if you have read it, please let's get to discussing, because I'm so excited. The first time I did any sort of spoiler-filled gushing thing that wasn't Strange the Dreamer, I think I spent way too long like actively recapping the story, so I'm just gonna skip that and talk about what I want. We'll see how this goes. I think I actually want to start off with all the characters. I love Nahri, Dara, and Ali all together. They're all separately on their own idiots, but when it comes to them all interacting with each other, they are like one mega idiot, and I love them. Nahri is really selfish but cunning and clever, but she's super in over her head, and that makes her make some pretty dumb decisions sometimes. Ali is like an educated brat who has such a narrow view of the world, is so basically sheltered that he doesn't know how to function in society, and he's such a like little blushing boy, and I love him, and he's so stupid. And then Dara is stupidly dramatic, really prejudiced, and a hothead who can't control his temper. He's also a big ass idiot. And I love all three of them. I love when they interact. Dara and Ali are super entertaining to watch them bicker. I love Nahri and Dara's like romantic tension, because we got them so early on in the book and like they were like pissed at each other. I'm honestly genuinely very concerned that they won't actually remain as a couple in the last book. I I'm hoping, but I am pretty dampened in those hopes. I don't know if they'll actually end up together. I love that this book starts off in Cairo, and I loved S.A. Chakraborty's description of Cairo. It just felt so real. It was done with some painstaking care, and hopefully maybe we'll get to see it later on in the future. I don't know. The intro of Dara I thought was great. We start ourselves off with a lot of action. He's a grumpy old ass and like I said, I loved the dynamic between him and Nahri. I think I really like their relationship because she's the one who kind of gets under his skin and she's the one who kind of has the power in the relationship. I also liked the introduction of Ali because we get to learn about this green little boy who is way in over his head, but this also immediately sets up consequences in this world. This is not an easy world to live in, to survive in. We watch him have to kill some people, and his really bad decisions actually ends up resulting in the murder of one of his beloved friends. I loved learning about the Marid, the Peris, all of these different unique creatures with really cool like elemental-y type powers. Thought that was super cool, and I definitely think they're going to have a huge influence in the future stories. Something I liked so much about this story as we went on, the story became a lot less black and white. It wasn't as stark. It really became very gray. None of the people in here are innocent. Not throughout history, no one is innocent. Dara literally led the fucking rebellion. The Nahids sucked. They would like brutally murder the Shafit for no reason. The Qatanis currently kind of suck, but they treat the Shafit slightly better. But Ghassan also plays dirty. He is not corrupt. He kind of not corrupt, but he's not like great. Ghassan is interesting as a villain. I'm just wondering if he is interesting enough to be the main villain. I wonder if there's going to be an introduction of another villainous character. The introduction maybe of Nahri's mother, Manaiza, or maybe even like mythical creatures, if the Peris are going to be, or the Marid are going to like fight. I don't think Ghassan is going to be the only villainous character. I think Nahri's mother might stir some shit up. I also love the friendship that develops between Nahri and Ali because it's just so innocent and sweet in a really corrupt, politically driven story. They're not supposed to like each other. They are enemies. So watching them bond over their shared love of learning and wanting to teach each other things was just so sweet. And that's what makes the betrayal that Ali commits really, really upsetting. Now, in terms of the ending, my mind was blown. And one of the biggest reasons I think I took off a half star when I first read the story was when Dara essentially forces Nahri into coming with him. I did not like the fact that our like romantic figure was forcing our female character into doing something that she didn't want to do. I hated that he made her do that, but I understand that he was starting to go a little mad. He felt cornered, and I still don't approve of that decision, but hopefully he'll get to make up for it. I don't know. Literally so much shit goes down in the last bit that my mind was so boggled. The first time I was reading it, I could not like keep things straight. Dara essentially almost kills Ali, and then Ali gives up his name and gets inhabited by a water creature, and then subsequently kills Dara. I was shocked. Ali gets banished because the Tanzim want to make him either a martyr or the next king and kill his brother. So he's basically going to be shipped off to get killed. Nahri is forced to denounce Dara, marry what's-his-face, his brother, Muntadir, and she's just like stuck with no help. And I just couldn't get over everything that happened. It was nuts. And there are some huge revelations into Dara's history, which was upsetting. Like, yes, he has the past histories because he was a slave and he had to do a lot of bad things because of that, but he also made a lot of bad decisions when he was living for his like Nahids and stuff, so that wasn't great. And there are some huge revelations into some characters. We got some weird stuff about Jamshid, who I'm now wondering if he has any relation to Nari. Manaiza is confirmed to be alive, and the fact that they have Dara's relic, which means he's not fully gone, had me breathing a sigh of relief. And now I'm very nervous that Dara and Nari are going to be apart for like the whole book. So yeah, I'm left off with like a ton of questions, and now I get to read the second book. Hopefully that gives me some answers. I'm really wondering the role of Manaiza. I wonder if she's going to turn into being the actual villain, or if she will actually be kind of the benevolent person that Dara hopes that she'll be. I doubt it. So I think that's it for all my spoilery thoughts. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. If you've read the book, please, please, please discuss it down below. I can't wait to discuss this book with people. I love it so much, and I just can't wait to dive into the next one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!